I would like to welcome you to another episode of Emran's podcast. It's a video audio podcast. Video I've uploaded to YouTube channel, Emran's YouTube channels, as well as Emran's Facebook. So do visit. So I hope you enjoy this kind of settings I have. As you can see, I have a new settings on the back. All my marathon majors, medal, as well as other things that I have, including my bib that I've been saving for years and years. So definitely it's a new setup. Hopefully you enjoy that. Let's get on to today's podcast. Today being Wednesday, that's when I'm recording at this time of Lake Martin week. So Lake Martin this week, there's so much preparation happens when you do a 100-miler. So I just want to talk to you about what you need to do for a 100-mile preparation. You know, it's not that easy whenever you try to get ready for a 100-miler. You know, when you prepare for a marathon or half marathon or some sort of distance, there's so much you can prepare because you're not doing an overnight thing. But when it comes to 100-miler, it gets a little tricky because you have to think about overnight. You got to think about the weather. The weather changes so much from the morning to night. And luckily, Lake Martin is loop course, so every 18 between 18 and 7 and another 5 and so on, I'm back to the 2-8 station. So I can plan it accordingly, but even there you need to plan as much as possible, and then there will be a lot of support and you will be coming over and over. But if you are going through point to point like Pinhoti, that's a lot of preparation. You got to think it through every aid station. What do you want to do? I do have a checklist that I'm preparing. As many as hundreds I have done, you think that I may have this to the signs, but no, it's still there's things changes. The weather this year, Lake Martin weather, going to be a little bit colder at night, and it's okay in the daytime, so I need to prepare for that, as well as shoes wise and stuff. So let's just go through the checklist, some of the basic checklist that I have. And if you're watching the video portion of it, you can see how I'm preparing. Basically, I have a table, a big table in my room that I have set up a table where I'm going to start putting things. That at the end of the day I'll forget something, which is natural. But the basic thing that you always want to remember, that I brought it here to show it to you, is battery. That's fresh battery. As well as headlamp, a few headlamps. I have a couple of headlamps. Those are the main requirement for a 100-miler. And I will have a couple of shoes. Usually I have one or two shoes to change. Usually I change one shoes at 50 mile. This year I plan to wear one shoes that's a speed goat as far as I can. And I do have ultra shoes that you saw some of the video that I box opening. Lone Peak as well as Mont Blanc. They're a little new to me, and then I don't want to go too far in that. So I'll start with Hoka, and of course the clothing wise, you got to be prepared. The colder in the morning, the start, and then it gets warmed up pretty quickly, and then you have to think to layer down. How do you layer down? That's other thing you got to prepare. And during the daytime, if it gets really cold or if it gets too hot, you got to figure out how to layer up or layer down. So they definitely, you got to have plans and look through the aid station how often it comes. So I have friends who layer down too early, and then they forgot that they were doing a point to point, and they drop their shirt too early, thinking that they may not need it later because in the middle of the day it's warm. Then they never got the shirt. They said they almost had a frostbite because they finished a little late for 50 miles. So it happens. I have seen that over and over. You're not, you have to think correctly at this time. This is time to plan. So that's what we're doing. And of course the hydration wise, I want to start with a bottle this year. I need to clean all my bottles, and I have two vests that I will use. my second and third loops, I may want to, at least the second loop, I may want to just do lighter vest, and then the third loop and fourth loop, at least till the through the nights, I would like to wear a little heavier so I can put a lot of stuff on it. And the main thing is, when you go through this 100 miler, you have to prepare a daytime preparation and the nighttime preparation. In the previous discussion podcast, I always talk about whenever there's 100 miler, if there's issues happening, it'll happen. So that the main thing is that you have to be prepared for those kind of issue to happen. But the other thing is you cannot be prepared 100%. So that way, you don't want to think that you're gonna have everything ready for you to go, but at the same time you cannot under prepare. So basic thing for me is the headlamps, batteries, shoes, and then the clothing wise, how do you want to drop bags. I would like to eat as much as possible at the aid station. My body shuts down after a certain point, and I just stop eating. Hopefully I can survive, but I guess one of the things I wanted to do this year is eat as early as possible, as often as possible, while my body still is able to take those food. Because later I wait, first I'm hungry and I'm eating, and then sometimes it just doesn't digest well, because your body just really in distress. The other thing that through the night run, through the day run, it's if you have done any ultra distance race, day runs are no different. It's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. One of the thing about Lake Martin or any distance race you do, I recommend you to carry your headlamp as early as possible. I have friends who do not carry, think that they may reach that next aid station before the nightfall, and did not carry their headlamp and got in trouble. Last year when I was running Lake Martin, it was dark right before I got back at that 50 mile mark. I did have a headlamp, but I didn't have to use it. But if you're a little behind, it's a problem. I almost had that issue when I was running a Blood Rock 55K. Almost got in the dark, and I was not carrying a headlamp, and I was like, at the end I was like, what would have happened if I would have slowed down a little bit more? But thank goodness, as soon as I finished, it got dark. So don't count on if you're doing, especially in Lake Martin, if you're doing the last 7 mile of that 50 mile loop or whatever mile, make sure you carry a headlamp. Usually in a point-to-point situation, I like to carry my one headlamp from the beginning, and so that way I don't, if there's a situation where I don't have access to my drop bags, or don't have access to my stuff, or my pacer, or my crew doesn't arrive in proper time and proper place, at least I have a headlamp. And having a basic headlamp is very important. So in a situation. One of the other things that I have noticed, one of the things, like when I was trying to do first time running 100 miler, David Toss, I call it David Toss rule. Always have a fresh battery. Start with a fresh battery. Even though my battery looks green here, which indicates that it's still fresh, this is dead, looks like. But what happens is, if you don't start with a fresh battery, you may get in a situation that the battery will go down. And my battery headlamp is good 4 hours. After that, I will have to change, so I'll have to be careful. So I have enough fresh batteries and fresh, so that way it's bright, because running in the dark on a trail is not a fun deal, so that way if it's gonna be dark, and sometimes you may not find a way through. People get lost, which is not fun even. So definitely there's different headlamps people use. I will have one other headlamp that just to kind of guide me through if I need it. This mean I usually use the head. It's just on my head. Usually it's like I put there on my head, but usually it's sometimes some of the new one I have seen is in belt like on your waist. I know that Jeff Browning talks about that in his podcast that I talked to him. So there's a different technique, different things that you use. It may be too late for me to get a new headlamp. I will just use what I have and then just go on from there. Back to what we're talking about, night runs. One of the things I noticed last year, it was very obvious for me. I don't know why I did not catch it. It's like you run through the daylight is so bright and day is wonderful. You run through it. As soon as the night falls and you're back on the trail, it's dark and just dreaded. So you have to be ready for that kind of situation. So to get over it, just hang on till get used to running in the dark, or at least shuffling through the dark. It's not going to be the same. So you have your eyes kind of has to get adjusted. That's what I'm trying to say. Because last year I found myself, like, as soon as it started getting dark and I was back on the trail, it was just kind of felt miserable. And every year I felt like that. I never understood why. Now I can kind of look back and I realize, hey, it may not be that, it may not be, any other than just running through the day. It's much different than running through the night, and you just not used to it. And a lot of us are not used to running through nights. So that way, so in that situation, what I recommend you to do is just keep going forward. Have a brighter lights, as bright as you can have. So some people have those bright lights, last longer battery life. So use those tools. Dress wise at night, Lake Martin situation, you have to have a warm cloth. If you don't care with the heavy change on your drop bags, make sure that you have those warmer clothes that you have access to. Don't try to tough it out in the cold nights. I have friends who has done that. Basically cover yourself. If you have to wear tights, wear your tights, jackets, headgears to warm yourself, and so on. So that way you're not cold at night, because, like I said, night running is miserable. That's the thing about 100-miler is, if it was all day running, maybe we would be okay. But night running, it's always miserable. And top of that, you are just cold, and it's the reason why we quit whenever comes a night run after 50 miles. And so enjoy your time and prepare yourself. I will show you what I'm doing. If you watch the video portion of this podcast, go to Marathon Runs on YouTube channel. You can find that, or Facebook. You'll find that as I'm preparing. I'll videotape. This will be my 7th Lake Martin. Last year I could not finish it, so hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully, I keep saying that. Let's try to finish this Lake Martin and bring that buckle home, bring that 7th buckle. So let's go move forward and be positive about it. I'll bring more videos and podcasts. As you know, that there will be a lot of video coming out of next weekend, this coming weekend. Next week, you get to watch a lot of ultra videos, running 100-mile interviews, questions, and so on. I'm looking forward to doing that. So hopefully it'll be a lot of fun for you to watch all those videos. Like and subscribe to Marathon Runs channel, wherever you find, especially YouTube. That's where I'm trying to build the community a little bit. I know that Marathon Runs have big community support on Facebook. I'm trying to increase that on YouTube, but hey, I'm here. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna keep packing next 2 days. I'm a bit nervous. If you watch this after Lake Martin, you may know what happened, but at this time, this is before Lake Martin. I have no idea what's ahead. I know there's really a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, but at the same time, there's a lot of enjoyment. So I'm looking forward to get to Lake Martin and do this over, and see what comes out of it. So let's go and enjoy and have a great time, If you're going to Lake Martin, I'll see you. If not, I'll see you here online. So thanks for being here. Thank you.